Hello there and welcome to this video. My name is Franklin Mukakanga. I'm a strategic creative consultant, a holistic therapist, and a fledgling network marketing professional. I took early retirement from formal employment in the Zambian advertising industry in November 2017 to pursue my personal vision, which is to focus as much of my time and energy as possible on helping people feel better so they could be better. Something I set out to do in a new pain therapy business I started around that same time. As everyone does, I set off with high hopes, and for the first few months, everything appeared to be going well. I had many new clients, but my therapy being of the nature that it is, and being as effective as it is, within weeks, I'd treat their pain and my clients would be out the door. And because the service was paid for and I didn't directly ask my customers for referrals, my business slowly trickled to a halt. Now, I did everything I could to drum up business. I went places, met people, made flyers, went on Facebook and social media trying to publicize, but it was like flogging a dead horse. You see, when I left my full-time job in advertising, I left knowing I wanted to spend my time inspiring, empowered living and doing what I could to help people overcome their limitations and thrive. Ridding one's body of physical pain can help do that. Anyone that has been in pain knows how limiting pain can be. So pain therapy was perfect for this. And so I focused primarily on that. Now, over the past 20 plus years, I had worked in advertising. I had gathered enough resources, skills, and connections in the field to ensure that if I wanted to, I could focus on that. I could start an advertising agency and favorably compete in the market. But that's not where my heart was. It's not what I was feeling I wanted to do deep inside. My heart was in people. It's been for a very long time, as I'll share with you a bit later on, in empowering people, helping people. And this is a call I'd first heeded when I first became a part-time holistic therapist, helper, and life coach in 2009. And I'd never been a fan of network marketing. It was something I saw as largely dodgy. I'd heard of Ponzi schemes, I'd heard of get-rich-quick schemes, and I took my life seriously enough, I believed, to never be sidetracked by anything that even smacked of one. I mean, I'd attended numerous MLM opportunity meetings because friends of mine were either involved in them or because I'd allowed myself to respond to cleverly executed invitations that maybe gave something away free in exchange for a bit of my time. But when all was said and done, my heart wasn't moved. I mean, these businesses didn't resonate with me on a deep level. And consequently, I'd never signed up. Till one day, I came across a rather different proposition. Now, this one didn't present itself as a network marketing presentation at all, but rather as a way to build a secondary income stream in the form of an invitation to what promised to be a very inspiring and powerful talk by a young man called Oliver Grimbley. It was dubbed the Plan B Seminar. Now, at this point, my pain therapy business had ground to a halt. I was doing more consulting and advertising and doing hands-on audio and video productions than anything. And I was just making enough to cover my basic expenses. So I figured that considering a plan B had now become essential to my financial survival. And in the same vein, I reasoned that if I could learn the tricks to securing my financial future, I could find my feet and not become another one of those statistics, you know, the ones that you often hear about when people are talking about how hard it is to start a business, and people speak of how many people left formal employment to start their own thing but were forced back into looking for a job again after this thing that they'd gone out to do failed to take off in a decent enough time frame. So that was Plan B. I attended the meeting, which was held at the Radisson Blu in Osaka. And my experience was interesting because I walked in, I was a few minutes late, and as I walked into the sound of an enthusiastic, vibrant voice that was carrying across the room. As a lady, I was later to learn, is Pastor Nelly Kangwa, was sharing a rather engaging story with the audience. There was lots of laughter. People were all relaxed. There was a warm vibe. I eyed a seat, walked over to the seat, and as I settled into this seat, I saw banners that were being put up, and a few that had been there before, that were flashing a name I'd never seen before, and also showing some products I'd never seen before. Now, immediately, as you can imagine, red lights started flashing because I realized I'd walked into an MLM meeting, and somewhere in the back of my brain, a voice told me I should get out of there and find something else to do with my Saturday morning. But I'd come specifically to hear a man called Oliver Grimbley. And I was here already, so I might as well wait because he'd be up soon. So while all this is going on, my ankles are crossed, my legs are crossed. And being trained in advanced language techniques as a life coach and NLP therapist, there was no way I was going to get swallowed into some MLM scheme. Absolutely not. I'd be alert. I told myself so. I straightened up and started analyzing every word, every gesture, every phrase. And Oliver came on, and my arms remained crossed. He was funny. I was defensive. His opening was Atibois, something he'd picked up obviously from the people that he'd met, and asked about how to greet people in Lusaka, and that was quite at odds with his strapping white South African 30-something-year-old exterior, and that cracked a smile on my face and made me realize that this was not going to be an ordinary talk. And Oliver started his presentation. He went through his presentation, and as he was doing this, I remained cautious through his entire talk. I was looking out for clever language meant to bypass my rational mind and get my excitement to fever pitch. I was looking out for those tricks of the trade that salespeople use, but to my surprise, there was none. There was no deliberate manipulation. There were no attempts to pressure the audience into a corner from which the only relief would come from buying into what Oliver was selling. Oliver's presentation was respectful, classy, and sincere. And he meant every word that he said, and this was something that I could feel. And as he ran through the company's mission, I sat up. By this point, my arms I had crossed my arms basically, and I was a lot more relaxed. And watching the videos that he shared and hearing his enthusiasm and sincerity gave me a warm feeling that had positively lacked in every business opportunity presentation I had attended up to that point. His enthusiasm was different, and this business that he spoke of resonated with my core value, which was empowering people. It's the kind of business that I could have created in another life, I believe, even in this one, circumstances being different, because here was a cooperative business model based on a shared vision for a better world. And that's the kind of thing that warms my heart. This was a business in which people could live their best life while looking, feeling, and living younger in a holistic way. A business in which the interests of the one, whoever got involved with the business, blended with and exponentially supported the interests of the many. This was a business that provided a way in which people could uplift each other and help other people find financial and personal security in life while supporting their inner healing and bodily and mental restoration. Now, for me, being a people helper, being a therapist, this was pure gold. And the opportunity was amazing as it was broken down. The potential was immense, the products mind-blowing. But as you may recall, by this point in my story, as I had mentioned earlier on, my fledgling business of pain therapy had dried up. I had no consistent income, and I'd burned through my savings to stay afloat over the months before. So even the basic starter pack was way too costly for me. I just couldn't afford it. That's the reality of it. Much as I wanted in, I couldn't activate on the spot. So as I left the meeting, I knew I was in. I told myself I was in by hook or by crook. And I know in Zambia specifically, when people hear that, it sounds a little sinister, but I'll tell you something about that phrase, by hook or by crook. In the olden days, In sheep rearing country, both the hook and the crook were tools that the shepherd used as he tended his sheep. The crook was a straight rod that was very sturdy and could be used and was used to ward off or even kill predators, while the hook was a pole with a hook on the end that could be used to rescue animals from crevices and ditches. So basically, by hook or by crook just means one way or another. So anyway, back to my story. By the end of the weekend, this happened on Saturday now. By Sunday, I knew I was going to be a part of this great business that I'd stumbled on by happy accident, and I knew I'd be a part of this business by hook or by crook. All I had to do was ask my mind and the universe that all-important question: how? How can I get hold of that 3,500 kwacha that I need to get a basic starter pack? The question was, how can I arrange things? How can I make it? How can it be that I can afford it? You see, life has taught me, ask the right questions. The universe always will provide an answer. I gave myself and the universe the task of ensuring I got started and set off to work, knowing that my intention was to take advantage of this great business opportunity. And sure enough, over the next couple of weeks, opportunities to make some money came up. I paid my bills, set a little aside each time this money would come in, and finally got my products. And it was only when I got involved that I realized just how big this opportunity really was and what it represented. The Jeunesse brand is the emerging Lancôme. It's the emerging Nike. It's the emerging Apple. It's a truly world-class brand that's here to stay. We run an active community improvement program in vulnerable societies and communities centered around children that's called Jeunesse Kids. We've sponsored and acquired the naming rights to a key, nearly 19,000 person capacity indoor arena in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil that is now called the Jeunesse Arena. We sponsor one of the most storied football clubs in Europe, Turkish side Galatasaray. We're in trending industries, anti-aging, nutrition, weight management, and these are growing in relevance and revenue year on year. Now notice I say we because owing to my small investment, I have a stake in this business. I'm a personal franchisee of this global business that's not only changing people's lives every day, but is impacting on mine too. As I build my business and use its products, my quality of life goes up, my confidence goes up, my energy goes up, and my enthusiasm goes up. I become Jeunesse. I live Jeunesse. Now I'm going to ask you something. Can you remember a time when you felt really inspired? Can you imagine a specific time? Remember how you felt. Remember what you saw. Remember what you heard. Now, feel that feeling. See that picture or that movie. Hear those sounds. Imagine feeling that feeling every day. Seeing that picture or movie every day as you build your own business with a community of like-inspired people. Energized, focused, powerful. Now as you do this, realize that you can you not, now become Jeunesse. Thanks for your time. I hope that